Welcome to World's Finest, the weekly DC Comics review. I am Phil. She is Lilith. Thank God, Convergence is over.
We're free! About it, but it's like, dude, I called it since before this event even started. What the purpose of this was, and I feel like there was a more roundabout way to accomplish this goal.
Let's jump into Convergence 8, the final part, because I'm kind of confused. Did they change Crisis on Infinite Earths, or didn't they?
Major spoiler alerts, guys. Basically, at the end of Convergence 8, this means that every single Earth, even the one everything including before Crisis on Infinite Earth in 1986 is up for grabs. It's all back in the main continuity.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, and I called it. So basically they wanted, if you're a Marvel fanboy as well, then you're very familiar with the theory of, the ultimate books where you can just pick up wherever you want. You don't have to write for years to get the character where you want. So this is it. We can take anything from any point in DC history. Except for like the Earth 2 thing, right? Because that's going to be something else.
What, the new 52 Earth 2?
Yeah, those characters.
Yeah, well, they created that whole new planet, and yeah, those kids.
See, that's why Swamp Thing was in there. It actually all makes sense.
Yeah.
The green.
And this Earth 2 Alan Scott kind of has like powers over the green too, so I don't know. And did you see the preview for the new Earth 2 book, The Society or whatever?
Yeah, I'm not interested.
The Dick Grayson we saw, but the Dick Grayson we saw in Convergence is going to be their new Batman.
Yeah, I mean, we said it. I mean, the only person that can really rock the cape and cowl if Bruce is not available is Dick Grayson. Thank God we don't have to have that argument anymore.
And the Wave Rider we got in this issue, is that the same one from the Booster Gold issue this week?
It's hard to tell, but I'm going to go ahead and say yes.
Because I read this before I read the Booster Gold issue, so I thought this was the old Wave Rider from, pre-Flashpoint.
You would think, but I don't know, because, I don't know, just because what they were trying to do, I just kind of assumed. And you know what they say about assuming, especially when it comes to DC, but that's the way that I took it. Because I actually saved Convergence, the main title, for last, because it's usually the biggest disappointment. My mind gets a little jumbled, and then once I read it, it is what it is.
When I read my books, I usually try to save the best for last, so I read Convergence first, and I'm like, it can only get better from here.
Oh no, I want my cake, I want to eat it, and then maybe if I have room for vegetables.
Then have some prunes.
Ooh, that is so apropos. But no, I did like this story.
Yeah.
It was, it kind of, even though it didn't really deliver the way that I wanted it to, it still was like kind of a really good ending to a trudging story. I feel like we could have done this in 4 or 5 issues maybe.
Yeah, it just seemed like, I was going to say nothing changed, but I mean, all those alternate realities are out there, but...
Yeah, it got a little convoluted, I will give you that, but...
And, like I was telling Tyler earlier in the week, it's just New 52 Superman, hovering over them, just be like, oh, I hope they got it down there. Yeah, they're fine.
Story was by Jeff King, of course. I know he's probably so sad to see his precious Earth 2 people have to do this little retool, but... whatever. The art was by Carlo Paglian, and the cover was also by the same person. Not a fan of this cover, just saying. There were 3 other variant covers, though, and I really liked the one with Superman on it, with the 4 different poses. The Superman sketch variant cover is there.
So do you think we're going to see more somewhere down the line of what they actually did that maybe tweak the original Crisis? Because...
Nope. They want to keep it as murky and muddled as possible, because it kind of, like I said, it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense.
Even as a future payday, you don't think they would put out another miniseries to explain what happened after?
Well, we'll see. I guess they have to see how the sales really did at the end of this month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If because that's what it's all about. It's a business, which that'll come up again quite quickly. So yeah, I mean, if it's worth it money wise, if they think that people are interested in it, I'm sure they'll do it. But I honestly don't think that the second half of Convergence did as well as the first half. Because a lot of those stories were just like, oh. Like, I just saw that a lot. Anytime New Comic Book Day rolled around and people were talking about Convergence, just like, I don't know if I'm going to watch and read issue 2, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think it was all just people read number 1 and was like, no, that's okay?
Yeah, I think they probably, if anything, I think Convergence, the main title itself, was the bestseller, obviously, because that's the story you really need the most.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of the spinoffs, except for maybe Nightwing Oracle because it was Gail Simone, probably did anywhere near close to that. That would be my prediction.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say that was their bestseller in the spin-offs. All right, I'm giving this issue a 3, and I'm being generous, so.
Wow! I gave it a 3.5, and that was just kind of I don't know, like it definitely wasn't a 4, and it definitely wasn't a 3. So it was just like, oh, okay, 3.5. They did what I wanted them to do because I'm a golden age girl through and through, and I was really just ever since Crisis on Infinite Earths, I've just been bitter. I wasn't even born. Well, I was born. It happened probably like 3 months before I was born or something like that.
So do you think we're ever going to get any books that like take place in a pre-crisis universe?
Yeah, I definitely think. I guess I'll go ahead and say it. I know for a fact that a lot of artists have been like clamoring to want to go back to when DC was awesome, and they've been getting the no and no Elsewhere tales and stuff like that, and so definitely, and I expect to see it before the end of the year, honestly.
Because I was going to say the 30th anniversary is going to be coming up here soon, right? Of the original Crisis.
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't doubt if we saw like a big preview book for it or something. Because I mean, I like the '90s DC for the most part, except for when they got really greedy. that part sucked. But it was a lot of innovation and creativity, and it's like right when the artists and the writers were kind of coming into their own, and it wasn't like a suits down kind of company anymore. So that's why it's probably my favorite time. It's kind of almost like a comic book renaissance on both companies' parts, and really when the indie comics kind of started making a push, and all the other little imprints and stuff like Vertigo and what's the one I'm thinking that Powers was issued out of Marvel? I don't remember off the top of my head, but right around that time, and then like also Wildstorm and all that stuff and Milestone. So yeah, it's just kind of a really nostalgic time in comic books for me personally. What's your favorite time in comic book that you lived through, I guess?
Yeah, I'd have to say the 90s was probably one of my favorite times also, just because that was like the first full decade I had, because I started reading in the late 80s. Probably like that right after Zero Hour era.
I don't know. There's something about the golden age for me though, which is why that's where I spent a lot of my time, a lot of my energy. I still go back when I have extra time, and I'm like, oh, that's when comic books were comic books. Yeah, it was cheesy and corny, but it was supposed to be.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's the best times for almost all my favorite characters, with the exception of Batman. Green Arrow, The Flash, Wonder Woman was really awesome during that time. The 70s was really rough on Wonder Woman, so I always try to pretend like that whole Ninja Girl act didn't happen. So yeah, definitely Golden Age is just perfection for me.
You must be rubbing off on me, because I was thinking the other night, I was like, if I struck it really rich, yeah, I'd get a big house and, whatever else. But I'm like, I would want to just go back and, like, buy every issue of Aquaman and Wonder Woman I could get my hands on.
Dude, the early runs of it were really great. Well, Wonder Woman around, I'd say from the 50s to, like, 69 are just, it's fantastic. Oh, my God. When I got my first issue of Flash, 123, Flash of Two Worlds, like,
yeah.
It wasn't as mint as it could be, but I literally almost had a heart attack when I saw it at a garage sale.
Oh, at a garage sale.
My friend was like, "Are you?" Like, I literally was like. So yeah, comic books are my life, and every decade has really great gems. But I think definitely '90s has the biggest concentration, some of the most recognizable stories. And I'm just glad that they decided that, hey, yeah, we might want to ditch this new 52 thing because it's not working. Like I said, you got to talk with your money, and I guess that's what people have been doing.
Yep.
So what's the next issue?
Well, you know what? There was a number 2 that came out this week. I hadn't got the number 1, so I picked up 1 and 2 both this week. Blue Beetle. I know you talked about.
Blue Beetle was awesome for me.
Well, that's what I hadn't read it, so I saw 2 on the stand this week, so I just picked up 1 and 2.
What'd you think?
I liked it. The only thing I didn't like about issue 2 was it seemed like the 3 of them were making fools of the entire Legion.
Of course, though. Of course.
Yeah, that's true. But no, I liked them.
I couldn't believe, like, we hadn't seen the original Question in a really long time. That was a really interesting pairing. So I was kind of here for it. And even though Scott Scott Lobdell kind of didn't bring his AA game. I think that this was a fun story. Again, like a lot of these stories were not fun. And the cover really draws you in. So shout out to Brett Blevins. I believe did that cover. It's the only reason why I picked up two, honestly. Blue Beetle's always fun. Like put Blue Beetle and Booster Gold on like an animated cartoon show and just make it a power hour, and I'm there.
Yeah, I second that. Or just make a kids comic with Booster and Beetle. Think about it. You could just have like a jokey little, all ages book.
Yeah, I mean, do we even have an all ages title come June?
DC, I don't think.
That is a Scooby Doo.
That's probably about it.
I think that's our drinking game every time I make a reference to the Scooby Doo comic.
What did you rate Beetle number 2?
Oh, Beetle number 2 was definitely a solid 3.5 for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I do want to talk about an issue that kind of bit off more than it can chew. Convergence Action Comics number 2. The cover was amazeballs, but the story was garbage.
That was the next one I was going to bring up. I can't believe you said that.
Power Girl in her classic, way too revealing outfits.
Aren't all her costumes that way?
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. She could be an interesting character, but they make it... She's all about her sex appeal. And Red Sonja used to be like that, but now it's actually more interesting, and they just have no intent on doing that with Power Girl, unfortunately. Which just frustrates me, I think. So this cover just kind of was awesome, but then the more like I got into the story, I was just like, there's nothing really there.
Do you think they just wanted that quote-unquote mud wrestling match between Wonder Woman and Power Girl?
Definitely. Which, come on, man. What are you, 13? Do we have 13-year-olds in the writer's room? Is that's what's going on here? It would explain a lot, actually. Anyway, I think that they should have kept the focus on Superman.
Yeah. The classic Earth 2 Superman, yeah.
I mean, I like the Red Sun character, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Like, that's an Elseworld tale that, you don't ever really need to revisit those characters.
Yeah. We got a lot of Red Sun this week.
Yeah.
So, what do you give this issue of Jugs?
I'll give this a 3. The artwork was great, but the story, like, the art really carried this for me.
Yeah.
Love the inks, love the penciling. Even the shading was like really good, and I was just like, oh man, why does this have to be this story?
I'll give it a 3.5, maybe because I'm a guy.
Yeah, that's okay. You can be a guy. It's okay. I said some pretty choice things about the new Jimmy Olsen on Supergirl. So.
Oh really? I can't wait to hear the next Channel 52.
Oh, it's a ladies' night. Too.
I know. I saw.
Yeah, so I really love John Claude St. Aubyn's work. I mean, I can't believe a woman drew this. But no, then again, lots of women have come through Red Sonja and all that stuff, too. So you got to do what you got to do, man. But it was really fantastic, and I'm thinking about making that actual poster.
Oh, that's cool.
Right, so, shout out to you, Amanda Connor. You did a great job with what they told you to do. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that it was unevenly killed story. that kind of happened in a couple of these issues because it's issue 2. They have to wrap stuff up, but it kind of just falls flat again. And I was really not expecting that for the last week of the Convergence. I thought everything was going to be majorly epic.
Unless they just thought all the attention would be on Convergence 8. All right, let's get to my problem of the week. Convergence Justice Society of America number 2.
Oh.
Yeah, the whole first issue was them complaining about their depends and their dentures. And then Dr. Cassius Bell makes them young. And most of this issue was them beating on a robot. And then they go back to old. Nothing ever happened.
You know what? This would actually make really little funny like short, like a DC short at like the end of like the Flash season 1 DVD or something.
Yes.
But not like a story.
You could have did this as like a backup story or a series of backups in another book.
I know. I don't think Convergence was the event to dedicate to this particular team.
No, I mean, what did they do? They beat on a robot.
I don't know. I will say that I appreciate somebody who is Dan Abbott's age. That he kind of did, because I am a JSA kind of fanatic. He kind of did capture their tone and their voice. And, I understand why they did it because, it was kind of a tribute to the legacy of the DCU. And I really want to applaud them for that.
Oh, I was looking forward to this book, but I don't know what happened.
I think I don't know. It's just kind of a clash, I guess. I think because it's not really about the robot that they're facing. It's just kind of like this little wacky side adventure.
Yeah, but I mean, the majority of this issue was them and the robot.
I wish they would have done something better with Dr. Fate, though.
Yeah,
He's a
exactly.
really complex, interesting character, and I feel like he got the short end of the stick.
I just wonder what the Dr. Fate book's going to be like in Divergence.
I really wish that they would use the Dr. Fate storyline from the Young Justice TV show. That's all I care about anymore.
I'm sorry, this book just annoyed me. It's just, I mean, on a team with, Jay Garrick, and especially with Alan Scott and Dr. Fate, and you can't take a robot down in 2 seconds.
They were killing time, dude.
I guess. Join their youth while they had it, but...
I'm not gonna lie, Hawkman brought it down for me. I just don't like the way that they wrote Hawkman in either of these things.
Did he even do that much in these issues?
That's the point. He's like the go get him warrior, and he's just... I
think I must have just been spoiled with the Jeff Johns JSA.
I won't say anything. Almost anything Jeff Johns touches and then somebody else picks up, like, it's just not even fair.
Green Lantern.
No, I did actually enjoy the touch that he added with the emotional spectrum and all that stuff in the rings. I thought that was something really creative and great.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I liked his run. It was just afterwards, I don't know, some of the stuff I didn't like.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's the only run I actually ever read straight through. Anyway, what did you give this issue?
2.5.
Ooh, total Lilith rating right there.
Oh yeah.
I'll agree though.
Oh.
Poor Tom Dernick gets brought down by this story because the art was pretty okay, but the story just like him just having to draw that robot over and over and over.
If they want to make money and they want to give everyone what they want, they should. Could they do that many? Could they do like separate lines each that takes place in a different decade or something?
I mean, maybe I think that's what they should do is like, for the holidays, for those 2 months, kind of do this and just kind of put like special,
there you go.
limited edition, miniseries. And if you want to see more, hey, go to this site and vote. Just like seriously, they need a direct line to their consumer at this point.
So that's a good idea. I mean, yeah, every once a year for for a month or two, yeah, do that. Focus on like one time period each time.
Because this was a good idea in theory, like I said, but because nobody knew what to expect, what characters they were pulling in. I think if we had more of a voice, it would have been a little more cohesive. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Convergence Booster Gold #2.
The first issue for me was better.
Okay, I see that.
And I wasn't expecting that. So it just kind of caught me off guard. I enjoyed the artwork. I enjoyed the kind of bickering between Booster Gold and Superman and whatnot. But about all that I have to say about that, honestly.
Like you said, I think one was probably a little better. I don't know if they're just rushing to get this done because they only had one more issue. But, I enjoyed seeing Rip Hunter again, and I don't know about the multiple boosters and the whole Wave Rider thing.
Like, I could just quite easily see this being how DC's Legends of Tomorrow is going to work out.
Yeah. But, I don't know, it just seems like in the New 52, they're changing the identities of people, like... now New 52 was Wave Rider going to be that version of Booster Gold. Reverse Flash, like a year or two ago in the New 52 was Iris's brother, not Eobard Thawne. And I see we're getting a Reverse Flash coming up in Flash. I wonder if it's going to be Eobard? It was a yellow suit.
I think what it boils down to is that while the story was kind of sort of fun, I think it was a little tough for casual fans who aren't as intimate with Booster Gold as his, core audience.
Mm-hmm.
I did find the story with Booster and Blue Beetle kind of emotional.
Yeah.
Which is kind of odd for a Booster Gold situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that it was a little too, it was too much of a dichotomy between the stories that they were telling within this one issue.
Mm-hmm. So what did you rate this?
And that's not even being generous. That's just my honest opinion.
I gotta go 3.5. DC, you haven't gotten anything over a 3.5 from us today.
Still time, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil the podcast.
Well, I only got one more book, because Convergence Detective Comics #2.
Oh.
I think I know what you're getting at, but there were some a few good points to this issue.
Of course.
I like the scene with the Russian Batman where Huntress asked him to take his mask off so she could like see her father's face one time. And the ending, all I'm gonna say is, yeah, it's about time.
Yeah.
That should end the beginning of the first issue.
Well, that was the best thing that happened. Of course it had to end that way.
I guess. All right, here's another thing I'm confused about. All right, so all the cities were torn from their Earths, right? And they were put down on the planet with Telos under the domes. So when Huntress and what are we gonna call him? Dick Grayson. How did they were transported back to their Batcave in Metropolis? How did they drive back to their Gotham City?
Comic book logic.
I guess the only thing I could think of was maybe that was after their world was put back, and maybe they were given like a false memory of actually driving there instead of just their Metropolis being put back.
I think my biggest issue with this title, this particular issue, but the title overall, these two, is that the plot isn't much to hang a story on. It's the smaller moments that make the issue compelling, and that gets tedious and boring reading to the next point that makes you go, ooh, or instead of just it constantly being a good story.
Yeah. Well, basically, it's like, well, how do you do 2 issues of Dick Grayson and the Huntress for Superman?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think a lot of people were pretty not interested in this duo. I was, because it's a very interesting situation because they both kind of have that weird connection and they're both kind of struggling with the same thing, and usually you don't see Dick do it, and we're yelling at him through the whole damn 6-shot or whatever it is that we're dealing with that particular issue. So I think it was nice for him to have somebody to commiserate with, but I don't think that pairing was really what people were clamoring for at the end of the day.
I don't know, just the little moments, the ending, that thing with the Huntress. I guess I give this one a 4.
Okay. I'll do a 3.5, only for the ending.
Yeah. About time.
Everybody's like, what are they talking about? Read it!
It's the same thing we go through with Dick Grayson every couple of years.
Literally every couple of years. Okay, so I want to talk about the do not read, stay away from list.
Oh.
Definitely Convergence Plastic Man Freedom Fighters #2. Convergence Crime Syndicate #2, and Convergence Infinity Inc. #2.
Really?
I wanted my $4 back. Well, at that point, $12 back.
Do you want to go into detail or just don't read them?
Just don't read them. I mean, unless you're an absolute fan of Plastic Man and his Freedom Fighters, it is not worth it.
And if you are, what's wrong with you?
It was humdrum, boring, and just it was a waste of space. Plastic Man is a waste of space. So
you need a good writer on Plastic Man.
No, Plastic Man needs to just not exist. Every time I see anything about Plastic Man, people give Aquaman crap. Plastic Man exists. Screw you, buddy.
That's true. I mean, we have Elongated Man, and we could get rid of Plastic Man.
Thank you. I was like, dude, we have Stretch Armstrong, and we have Mr. Fantastic. We don't need another dude that does this, okay?
Yeah, at least with Elongated Man, he's like a detective, and
anytime they try to team him up with Batman, I'm just like, please don't. Crime Syndicate was just a disappointment. Just overall, the storytelling, the artwork. I was bored to tears. And just Infinity Inc. #2. #1 set it up pretty decently, and then it just falls apart. So, I mean, it was frustrating. If you liked issue #1, you're going to be super disappointed with issue #2. Almost best not to even read it. Had potential, and they just squandered it.
Thank God you said that, because I picked up Infinity Inc. #2 and kind of flipped through it real quick, then I put it back down.
He's like, it burns! It burns! But I did, of course, read Convergence Shazam #2 and Convergence World's Finest #2.
Okay.
So if you're interested, I could tell you a little something about it.
Please.
Okay, so let's start off with Convergence Shazam #2. This, of course, starring heroes from Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's dealing with Shazam, of course, one of my favorites. And he's in Gotham City, which is really cool. And, like, I don't know, this story was kind of, like, darker than you expected for, like, a Shazam story. And I think that's what I like the most about it. Jeff Parker really stepped his game up from issue 1, because issue 1 I was like, they were just plotted along. This was actually fast paced, action packed. Love the splash pages on this one. So shout out to Doc Shaner on that one, who also did the cover, which was very interesting and a very good conceptualization of what the story was about. A lot of the time, these covers haven't really connected to what the actual issue is about. So I think I like that as well. Definitely a 4 for me.
A 4.
Well, it's the whole Marvel family together, so you don't really see that a lot. And they're they're almost as good as the Bat family, honestly. So I really hope to see more of them in the.
Don't see them a lot in New 52.
Yeah, that's what I mean. New 52 ruined almost everything. Yeah. So Convergence World's Finest Comics #2. I don't know. It's the 7 soldiers of victory against the Q-Ward invasion. It's just really too unusual and weird for me to get behind. I didn't like the issue #1 at all. Like, I read it and I thought I did, and then I reread it and I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought you said you liked it. I actually got the first issue, and then this week I went in #2 there, and I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I liked it. And then when I reread it, because I kind of wanted to reread this one specifically, and I was just like, wait a minute, this is all hogwash.
Yeah, this is the only one that I picked up #1 and I didn't get #2.
Yeah, I kind of don't blame you. The only thing that is saving grace is that the artwork is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of weird. Like, I just kind of don't like the setup that they have to use, like the author self-insert or whatever. It's too odd for a comic book. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's all. And I gave this one like a 2.5, and only for the artwork is it a 2.5. If you are into the heroes of the story for some odd reason, because they're kind of obscure to me, even. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah, they're obscure.
A couple of quick things, I guess. Did you pick up Batman 66 #23?
No, I didn't.
You're not reading Batman 66, or you just haven't had time to get caught up?
I haven't been reading it. I have to be choosy because, unlike you, I collect Marvel and DC, so I kind of just like Secret Wars is starting.
I know. I just looked through a Secret Wars. I'm gonna wait and see what everybody says about it before I start picking up issues. I like Batman 66. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I literally just got into it and I read like 10 issues in one sitting. I felt like it was too gimmicky, but I just like it, even though I didn't like the show. And I think I'm probably getting into it because we're getting a 2-part animated movie featuring Adam West and Burt Ward. So
yeah,
I want to be in on that movement.
So what do you give Batman 66 #23?
Solid 3.25. I think sometimes they use too many villains. You don't just give Solomon Grundy a freaking half-age. That's all. Did
you read anything else, or should we get to the big news of the day?
I read Suiciders #4, Sandman Overture #5, and I haven't gotten to He-Man the Eternity War #6 yet. But man, if you're not reading He-Man, like, I'm telling you, this series is really good. And it's only at issue 6, so you can just jump right in at this point.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. And, I have been into a He-Man phase for some reason for the last 3 months, and I went back and I found that there was another cartoon series that started in 2009, and that one's way better than the original. It's a lot more thought. Animation is beautiful, so if you're interested in He-Man, he's making a comeback in a big way. I
should get into this. I watched the original animated series as a kid.
I have it on my hard drive, all of the episodes, and She-Ra, and the special Christmas holiday movies. Yeah, definitely check out He-Man if you lived through the 80s and that was your jam. No shame here. So yeah, we can talk about the big news of the day. Phil's been blood's been boiling the whole damn time. DC,
what are you doing? This whole controversy. I mean, I've seen everyone on Twitter and everywhere else talking about this, and none of it's been positive. I guess the decision came out today that they're going to put, half a page ad for Twix
in every
in
issue?
like the top half of the page is going to be this part of the story, and the bottom half is going to be an ad.
I saw it and I was just like, but why?
But yeah, why mess with? That's what I told you before. Why mess with the art? If you're going to do an ad, just give it its own page.
I love that the Outhousers, Outhousers.com. Their lead story is a Twix too far. Oh my god. Because they're the ones that have the widget on their site that says days since DC's done something stupid, and it's like back to zero. That's why I love them. They give no fracks. Okay.
Oh, I love that.
I gotta put that widget on my website one of these days. But yeah, I don't know why they're doing this. Like I said, I suspect that sales for Convergence were kind of low, and they need to make it up.
Like I said, I don't care if they do ads, but give the ad its own page.
It was a risky move that they did by literally canceling almost all the titles for Convergence, and like some people read like Convergence number. By the time they got to like number 2, the main title, they were like, nope.
Yeah, then they take 2 months off.
Yeah, so I kind of understand it from a business side, but as a fan, I am outraged per usual.
Yeah, but I just think forget Convergence. If they want to sell more product, lower the prices. Because I mean, think about this: would you rather sell 2 issues at $1.99 or 1 issue at $2.99?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I've said this a million times. Like, I don't mind because like I'm single, I don't have kids and stuff, and I have sustainable income. I don't mind paying the price as long as the quality of the story and the artwork is great. I love that the writers and the artists are actually getting their due now, and they're not getting screwed out of fortunes like they used to back in the day. So I don't mind paying it, but it has to be top notch every single week.
I mean, think about it. For those kids, I mean, they want to bring kids in, I'm sure. I mean, just remember when you started reading, I mean, if you were a kid these days, I mean, how many issues would your parents shell out to buy these days when the books are $2.99, $3.99?
Yeah, that's so true. But, I don't know what kids get for allowance these days. I mean, I got I've had a job since I was 13, but before that, I got
And it's like these days, I mean, you have so much more to compete with. I mean,
I get it, but really, Twix and Nick Lachey, do they even know their audience? What is that?
I know, because I swear I read somewhere where they said, I think most of the people reading these days are college-educated white men, and I'm like, why would they care about Nick Lachey?
I mean, I didn't even like him when 98 Degrees was a thing. I hated 98 Degrees. Ugh! I hated his stupid reality show with Jessica Simpson. Ugh. Just ugh. It's like the worst advertising ever.
I know. My wife was in the boy bands. I mean, she loves Justin Timberlake, and I never hear Nick Lachey's name come out of her mouth.
He never even attempted to have a solo career. He knew better. Can't understand why it isn't like video games or, I don't know, cars. Guys like cars, right?
They did do cars for a while. At least I know Marvel was doing them for car ads for a while. I think was DC doing them too.
I can't recall.
I'm thinking around 2009, maybe 2010. They might have been.
Oh, that weird interim time where nobody knew what the hell was going on.
Yeah, come on, follow the Image model. I mean, do you read any Image comics?
Yeah, of course.
I get Walking Dead and Spawn, and don't they put all the ads at the end of the issue?
Yeah.
After the story, after the letters page, then you get all the ads.
So what do you think you think this is going to be an epic fail, or, are we going to see this going to be a more common thing?
What, the ad thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. The backlash just seemed pretty heavy to me today. Everywhere I looked, people were talking about it, and not in a good way.
Do you think people are actually just all talking or still going to buy the issue? Because if you don't, that's the only way to get through to a company is just don't buy the product.
I would say everyone's probably going to buy the first issue, whether it turns them off enough not to buy following issues. I don't know. So is that it then?
Yeah.
Shameless plugs and self-promotion.
You can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. You can find me on Tumblr, lilithfairyhellfire.tumblr.com. I want to let you guys know that the Flashpoint is legit on Facebook. We are facebook.com/The Flashpoint Podcast. Finally. We also have a Tumblr, thatflashpodcast.tumblr.com. Please check out the Facebook and Tumblr. You do not have to be a user of Tumblr. You can just go, and it's like a little website. Because you need to check out the cool contest that we're having, our Watch and Win sweepstakes. It's called the Flashpoint Film Fiesta, and it starts June 9th. So, might want to get on it. It's some pretty sweet prizes.
Oh, yeah. If you want to discuss the great Twix debate with me, you can email me at nightwingpdp@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter at nightwingpdp. And you can reach us at the show page. We have a Facebook page for the show, facebook.com/world's finest podcast.
Oh, we made it through Convergence all 8 weeks, so.
That's right. Next week, the Divergence starts.
Well, I can't wait to talk about what my pull list is going to be next week. It's going to be so light and easy breezy.
Well, for World's Finest, I'm Phil.
And I'm Lilith.
Join us next week when who knows what universe we'll be in.